Lovely. Okay, well, yes, as I said, thank you very much, everyone, for joining this webinar today. The webinar will be looking at an example of working time reduction in the Portuguese context, specifically in a nursery, which is very exciting. So we have four speakers with us today. We have Inês Poeiras, the Executive Director at the Caminhos da Infância.
Yeah.
Francisca Carneiro, the President and Director at the Caminhos da Infância. The Caminhos da Infância is a non-profit association working to raise awareness among all stakeholders in our society to prevent child abuse and parenting negligence while promoting a positive parenting approach. We are also joined by Sofia Cruz, who is an associate professor with habilitation at the Faculty of Economics at the University of Porto. And she's also a researcher at the Institute of Sociology at the University of Porto. And Sofia is coordinating a research project on the 4-day work week, which is funded by the Portuguese Foundation for Science and Technology. And our fourth speaker, we're joined by Ana Isabel Couto, who is an invited assistant professor at the Faculty of Economics at the University of Porto, and also a researcher at the Institute of Sociology at the University of Porto, also working alongside Sofia to coordinate this 4-day workweek project. Yes, well, without further ado, then I will hand over to our speakers. We'll have roughly around 30 minutes of presentation, and then we will transition into Q&A. So over to you, Inês.
Okay. So, Caminhos da Infância is a non-profit association, as you say. We are talking about a little bit what happened with this pilot project and all the issues, the main issues that come with it. Can you change okay? So, we are a private institution of social solidarity with a team of 22 working in the association and the nursery. Our primary mission is the prevention of child abuse and the promotion of positive parenting. Caminhos da Infância operates a nursery, open Monday through Friday, provides summer camps, offer parenting counseling, and conducts informative campaigns on childhood and positive parenting. At the nursery, we host 84 children by the time of the project pilot. Nowadays, we have 92. These children are divided into 6 classes. We have 2 classes for children from 6 months to 1 year, 2 classes for 1 year old, and 2 classes for the 2 years old. Every class is managed by an educator and a child care assistant, 2 adults. How was this? How did it happen? We replied to a public invitation from the Ministry of Labour, Solidarity and Social Security, challenging all organizations to join the 4-day week pilot. And this was very important for us. We already had this practice of promoting initiatives aimed at ensuring the well-being of the team, with beneficial consequences on a personal and professional level, like coffee time, break times, Pilates classes, mindfulness sessions, training weekends away from the work environment, schedule time off without loss of pay, birthday days off, among others. We did this with the collaboration of a specialized communication and public affairs advisory firm to ensure that our clients, not the children, but their parents, as you can imagine, correctly understood what was being tested. And that is the impact of the workers' well-being on the child's well-being. Can we pass through slide 5? Okay, so about the timeline and format. In November 2022, the idea was launched in the team into a WhatsApp group, like, and if we just work 4 days a week. It was funny, and you can see the enthusiasm because they soon come up with a scheme in these two colored pages that we posted here. And you can see we work with children and in a kindergarten or nursery, because it's so like the Friday is violet, the Monday is green. I don't remember, but it was very easy to come up with this scheme. The project started on June the 5th and extended until the end of December. It ran 1 month behind the period initially foreseen by coordinating team, not only because August is calendar definition, the holiday month, for everyone, but also because in September, the team worked 5 days a week due to our educational project. This ensured that the experimental period was more reflectively of our reality. September is a very important month in a nursery, a daycare. The nursery runs for 5 days. We never close. And workers worked 7.5 hours daily, 30 hours per week, except for the 3 employees who choose to maintain 7 hours daily. In these cases, the workers worked 5 days a week, every 3 weeks, accumulating 2 hours per week, totaling 6 hours. Okay, slide 6. Main concerns of the administrations about this. Well, financial implications, particularly the cost of hiring additional staff to cover the reduced works, was uncertainty surrounding long-term financial sustainability behind the pilot phase added to these concerns. The administration grappled with balancing the need for temporary hires against financial prudence and the responsibilities associated with short-term contracts. It's about inclusive the Portuguese labor legislation. Well, another point was managing sick leave effectively and maternity leaves. While short-term absences were easy to accommodate, there was apprehension about prolonged sick leaves and maternity leaves, disrupting operational continuity. Well, operational challenges emerged prominently during the initial phases of the 4-day workweek implementation. The logistical challenge of organizing work schedules around the designated off days initially raised concerns about potential conflicts and workload distribution. We had initial concerns about organizing work schedules around Mondays and Fridays. I think it's what we all want. It's the Monday or the Friday. We were afraid that everyone would like to choose the same day off that would lead to conflict. But there was a surprising easy in overcoming logistical challenges associated with these days. The team demonstrated unexpected flexibility. However, an anticipated difficulty arose regarding minor adjustments in work hours. One of the things that surprised us was when the team started to resist working just half an hour more per day. This half an hour only concerns the educators who had to work with the implementation of the 4-day workweek. 1 day less, but 30 minutes more per day. It was really a surprise. But we are talking about young mothers who works in daycares, is mostly girls, young women with resistance required that we had that we be more flexible in scheduling and addressing employee concerns to maintain harmony and productivity. We came up with alternative schedules and models. For example, a 5-day week once a month, so then it could be possible, 30 hours per week. How it goes. Well, measuring productivity is one of our concerns, and in a nursery presented unique challenges. We were cautious about how the reduced hours might impact overall productivity, especially given the demanding nature of childcare responsibilities. You don't measure how many types you change, right? We were cautious about is maintaining the quality of childcare despite the schedule changes was a paramount concern for us. We were initially worried about potential disruptions and the ability to provide consistent care, reassuring us about the feasibility of the new, we consistently made surveys and assessments indicated no noticeable decline in childcare quality. Reassuring us this was quite important because the surveys were constant, reassuring us about the feasibility of the new schedules. There were indications that the reduced work week contributed positively to team morale and resilience in handling challenging cases. And finally, about the collaboration with this specialized communication advisory firm to ensure that our clients, the parents, correctly understood what was being tested, that is the impact of workers' well-being on the child's well-being. This was very important. And it was very good for us because parents expressed enthusiasm and appreciation, acknowledging the importance of the team's rest. It was very important, given the demanding nature of the profession. Many showed curiosity and interest in applying this management model in their workplaces. It was very good to hear this from the parents. Slide 7, and I will take you take care of this, Francisca, from now, please.
Hi, everyone. So, and after what Inês told you, the months passed and everything was really okay. It was really easy and calm months, and everything worked really well. So I'm going to talk to you about the evaluation process. Well, it's one of our fundamental pillars. So I'm going to talk to you about it. So one of the things that we did was the daily and weekly monitoring during the test period with the pedagogical management and the team members that were defined by the workers' committee. The measures adopted during this period were monitored daily and evaluated weekly during the test period with the pedagogical management and the team members defined by the workers' committee. It was like 3 people. We reunited from like every week at Fridays. At Caminhos da Infância, evaluation, like I said it before, is a fundamental pillar for us in our action, in our day-to-day, and is an integral aspect of our educational project. So it wasn't really difficult for the team to evaluate it, to get evaluate or to evaluate what they were living. Evaluation metrics were defined by this team also. The other aspect was one of the things that Inês told you was the project financial costs, and primarily linked to the hiring. We needed to hire another team member to join the support staff, and it was an increase of 5% workforce. Although the project duration of the pilot duration was only 6 months, like Inês told you, the new hire was contracted for 7 months. So it allowed time for her, for her to get adequate preparation, who get to know us, to know how we worked. We needed to say to you that the variation recorded in the financial report between 2022 and 2023 is also 5% similar of the variation between 2021 and 2022. However, in 2023, 2 employees were on an extended maternity leave, and were not replaced, so making it difficult for us to draw a straightforward conclusion. The integration of a new employee for the project would have cost approximately 8,000 euros, but from which we subtract the cost of the benefits that we talked about it, no longer provided, like, sorry, and this word is really difficult for me to say, so I'm going to try to say it like pilot classes. I don't know if I said it right, sorry. And public transport passes. And the cost of implementing a new person here for 7 months was estimated in 4,700 euros.
Sorry, desculpa.
Okay. So this is it. So now is the key results. Sorry, the key results is this is our main core of the evaluation, the final evaluation that we did. So scientific research was always the starting point. We didn't start this if we didn't have this compromise from the scientific research, and we didn't get the help that we needed. And this was one of the main things that made us go through this. So this was essential not only just to justify the adoption of this measure, like an innovative element for enhancing employees' well-being, but also it allows us to objectively assess the performance that we were doing. Another word was the working time reduction. We observed the reduction in working hours from 37 and a half hours to 40, depending on the category of the people, to 30 hours per week for everyone, representing a decrease since 14% to 25%. The 4-day week was successfully implemented with the addition of 1 member only in a team of 22. So it was only an increase of 5.5% of the staff. And one of the other aspects that I'm going to talk to you, and is a really important one for one that is working in a nursery, is the absenteeism rate. So before this project, we had an absenteeism rate which has been higher, and what did to us was and it requires an additional effort on the team. And that absenteeism rate, one of the things that we observe and register is that it decreases significantly. So most of the months we didn't have any person absent. So that was great here, and it was a really good indicator. And one of the things that made us approve the continuance of the project. The other was this perception of the error margin by the people who work here. So empirically, we can say that workers perceive the reduction in their margin of error in day-to-day tax, normal tax. Additionally, the typical exhausting Friday, like, oh, it's Friday, was unexpected, avoided. For someone was always a Friday. And Inês would like to tell us also, for someone it's always a second Monday. But for us, every day someone was feeling refreshed, and so someone could help another one who was feeling more tired or more, my blah, that days. Someone was feeling refreshed and was like, okay, so come on, we can do this. So this was one of another really good point. The parental feedback, it was one of the great things. So we had parents that not only show enthusiasm and appreciation, and for us it was great because it was the acknowledging that our job here is difficult and is demanding, has a demanding nature. But also some parents just ask us how we can do this and had curiosity and interest. How can I apply this to my work? How can I convince my director that this is a good idea? Can you give me some strategies? How can I do this? So it was a really good thing here. Next is operational benefits. And from the operational point of view, the 4-day week model proved not only to be an added value to the nursery setting, and that's true, but because we were acknowledging that human factors are critical here in this environment, and the financial impact, because hiring another worker added costs, but it was offset by the elimination of costs related with other benefits that I'm not going to tell that word again, sorry. But privilege that was provided by the employees, by Caminhos da Infância. And that said, it was like this great opportunity. Nowadays, we don't give like this these other benefits, but most of us have pilot classes, but it's for us and because we want it and because we feel that we need it and it's good for us. So and Caminhos da Infância just lead the way, and that's great. So yeah.
Don't you want to talk about the photo?
Oh, yes. And this photo is an Instagram post from one of our educators.
WhatsApp group.
WhatsApp group, in our WhatsApp group, sorry. That she just told us that she could do the gymnast classes and that she took a coffee in the coffee shop by herself. And you see it, she's happy. And one of the things that was happening is on our WhatsApp group, everyone in the first weeks were posting what they were doing. Like, finally, I'm reading this book all by myself. I'm going to the beach. I'm going to do this stuff. And someone told us, oh, I finally got this consult, this doctor appointment. So be happy because everyone was telling, please, you have to go to this doctor, you have to go. So I'm finally going. So that was a really good experience. So where are we now? So we told you between June and December of 2023. Between January and June of 2024, we operationalized the 15-day 4-day week. So it's a 4-day week in 2 weeks. With without additional hiring. So the people the person that we added to the team left in December. And we try to do this without hiring any additional staff members. between September and December of 2024, it was a difficult period here, and we interrupted the 4-day week due to several sick leaves and maternity leaves that were a little bit unexpected here. Since January 2025, now we are back to 4-day week every 15 days, with additional hiring because we needed that additional hiring, and with a jointly draft compromise letter by all workers, because we have new workers here that wasn't in the beginning of the logistics of these things. So we needed to draft a compromise letter, and that was great. And added staff here, we needed to say, to just has now the 4-day week after working here for 6 months. Like the first period, they don't have it, and then they have it. And these draft compromise letters, there was every point was drafted by all workers. It's really what was really important. And since sorry, and I'm sorry.
Since ever.
Sorry, I'm going to be
all the time.
all the time. Wait, I don't know what happened here. Sorry.
But agora Inês.
Okay. And between May and July of 2024, we collaborate with Ana Isabel and Sofia in this specific project. So I passed the
thank you. So between May and July 2024, Caminhos da Infância, we have a collaboration. And what is this collaboration about? Well, Caminhos da Infância kindly welcome an international master's student from the University of Paris-Saclay, who was doing a 5-month research internship under the European University Alliance for Global Health on the project Organization Work, the 4-day week. This project was being developed by the Institute of Sociology at the University of Porto between July 2023 and July 2024. It is precisely because of this project that the Institute of Sociology of the University of Porto has joined, as India said at the beginning, the European Work Time Network as a member. And that's why we are here today. This collaboration with the Caminhos da Infância was possible thanks to the role of Pedro Gomes and Rita Fontinha, coordinators of the Portuguese pilots that are with us today, who gave us the contact details of Caminhos da Infância. From then on, we began a fruitful collaboration, in particular by carrying out qualitative case studies on the organizations of the Portuguese pilots, involving also not only international students, but also national master students. Given this fruitful collaboration, we jointly decided to submit an application to the Portuguese Science and Technology Foundation, which has approved in August 2024. And now we are a team of 10 researchers from different scientific backgrounds, namely sociology, economics, and organization psychology, and who are together working on the topic on the 4-day week in Portugal.
So just to briefly introduce you this research project, the main aim is to analyze the implementation process and the effects on the 4-day work week on organizations. And in the next months, we will be carrying out exploratory case studies and also longitudinal case studies. And we are doing this by carrying out different tasks, namely those that are here, 4 main tasks. And actually, I do believe that you will hear from us and from our project, from our developments and achievements in the next months. So we will for sure keep in touch. Thank you so much for your attention. I will give the word for people that are here in this session. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, all four of you, for such a fantastic and really interesting presentation. We will now move to Q&A. So we'll end sharing, and I will sort of move the spotlight so we can all see each other a bit more easily. So does anyone have any... Oh, sorry, Anna, just focusing on you. There we go. There's everyone. Does anyone have any questions for the panel? I can see there are a couple in the chat already, so we can go straight to those if everyone else wants to mull for a minute. So there are two questions from Landa, which I think mainly targeted to be answered by Inês and Francisca. So question one is, if the normal work schedule consisted of 30 hours per week and 7.5 days a week, thus working a 4-day work week, and the nursery was open 5 days a week, did the workers fill their work days in such a way that each day there were enough workers present? So did you have a sort of rota system? And then a second question from him is that whether of all the workers in the nursery, how many opted to keep working the previous number of hours, so 7 hours a day, working 5 days a week? Did anyone opt out of taking part in the trial?
Well, thank you. Well, regarding the first question, well, let me tell you that the ratio was really important, and it was something that was measured. We hired one person, but we rearranged some of the functions of professionals here. We had one girl from like an assistant of the direction, secretaries, administrative services, and we reduced her time, and she wanted to inclusively, and she started to work also with children. So the ratios, the ratio was kept. I guess it was better. I have here the evaluation, our evaluation report, and the ratio was even better during the project pilot period, and all work days were filled, inclusive with the flexibility of the workers. But maybe you can explain it.
No, it was one of the things, the ratio between adult and child. It was great and was one of our main concerns. But the schedules were flexible. So, so if I'm working in the room, and my partner just is going to take the day off, or the 4th day, I'm going to take his schedule. It was like that. We all knew it, and we all knew it how the schedules were. I'm not going to explain it to you, because I was here all day long, because there are really certain little things. But it was like we had flexible schedules, and everyone was compromised with that, and everything went well. For the second question, that if anyone didn't want this, no one, everyone just participate, and everyone wanted to participate in this. And one of the things that were really great for us, it was the need to, when they told us the question of the 30 minutes per day, and for us wasn't a question, because most of the times they do that 30 days every day. 30 minutes, sorry, 30 minutes per day. It was necessary for us to change and to quickly have some, I don't know, some creativity solution for that. And so everyone was in the same boat with us, and everyone was trying to find solutions. And that's why.
There's another question
about sick leaves, financial implication, and the productivity. Sick leaves, we cannot reduce sick leaves. They are what they are. These days, we in the pilot, we didn't have a lot of sick leaves, but now we have it. So it's something that we cannot control. We can control the people that are here, and we can control the compromise draft that we know. We know if I know if someone of my team is sick, and so I don't have my day off. That's something that we
That's the
have here.
difference here between something that you can, a doctor appointment, for
Yes.
instance, that you do it in your extra day. If you have a doctor appointment, if you are just sick, well, okay,
Okay, exactly.
you can't do anything. Or if you have your kid sick. But here, the importance here is to think that if a mother needs to have a psychologist with the son every week, she knows she could do always on Mondays, and she won't be a problem at work. There's a difference between a doctor appointment and being sick. About the other questions, why did you choose to experiment with the 4-day week and not other solution? This was the first, the proposal of the team was this design, 4 days a week. So we did it. The rearrangement was just for those 3 specific workers to opted to keep working the previous numbers of hours. They are mothers, very young. The child are about a month and 10 years old. And so it was very important for them to have that extra, that 30 minutes for them was very important not to miss that half an hour. But they were only 3. This was a year ago.
2 years, almost 2 years ago.
So that you can imagine, nowadays we are doing this, and they don't even remember that that was an issue. Like, what? We want that 30 minutes? No, it was, they don't remember. It's very interesting because it was an issue back then, but now it was okay. It was like no one remembered about that.
Yes. And I could say that it was like Inês told in the WhatsApp. And so if you did this, and I was like, she's crazy. I was the skeptical one. I was like, she's crazy. We're never going to do it. We have sick leaves but now I'm the one that is telling her, oh, no, we can do it. Now we can, no, I know that the team can do it. One of the things that I must tell you is that we have really good, we have a good team that work for a long time together. So, and they know how to, and that was great to rely on each other. And now they are just looking for solutions to have again the 4-day week. And if we do it, it's because of them. It's because they told us, please, let's do this. We are going to try. We are going to compromise, and we are to do this. So let's see.
Well, about the costs, there's these questions here about the costs. Well, hiring a new person is a cost. We need this new person. It's not equal, don't hire and hire. So the decrease of absenteeism does not compensate the hiring of a person. If we are talking about financial costs, right? But you have another costs that if you have someone, you know that in Portugal, in Portugal and probably other places, an assistant educator does not receive the payment. It's not enormous. It's the minimum. It was not the minimum. Nowadays, here it is. We never had this minimum. How do you say?
Minimum wage. Okay.
We never had it. Nowadays we do because it's too high, and we are a private institution, but the Social Security has all the child places in here. So the Social Security nowadays pays for everything. So we cannot do medical. So that's what we have. Yet, you know that having this day off, it's an enormous well-being for the employee, and it reflects on the children. So instead of having someone here just doing the 9 to 5, oh, I need to be here to be paid, they know that if something occurs, normally they are going to talk to Francisca, or Francisca is the first one to tell her, come on, go home, we change your day off for today, because the babies are the most important thing here, right? So
And that's what measures productivity.
Yeah.
So we have here someone that asked, how can you stay productive that's how we measure it. Is the well-being of the child and the well-being of the child here. And one of the things is that it increases because the cost of having exhausting staff is not good for the child, is not good for the children here. So the main cost, financial cost, is one thing, but the human cost is another thing. And in a nursery, all that we do is just human relationships with others, with adults, and with children. And that's why it's so demanding. It's such a demanding job. So it's how people were happier, people were more able to find solution for the problems. For kids, they were always crying, to look at them from another angle, because everyone is like this. When you are exhausted, we only see the negative. When we are okay and we work in a place where we are feeling good, we can find solution and be happy with that. And that's a circle.
Well, Francisca, during her presentations, she talked about sometimes for someone, it was always Monday. Usually when we work the 5 days a week with children, Friday was Friday for everybody. So we didn't measure it. We never thought about it. But Friday is a tired day for everybody. It's Friday. Everybody wants the Friday. So regarding attention to the child, someone was in their new during a Friday. Imagine that someone went on Thursday, the day off, and Friday it's like a refreshed person, right? It was it was an interesting point to see that someone was just fresh. It was very good on Fridays. Yes.
Because children also had Fridays, right?
Thank you. Diane, do you want to come in?
Yeah, hello. I'm from Montreal, Diane Gabrielle Tremblay, well, you see that. I just wanted to say I was sorry I arrived a bit late because it's actually a bit early for me and I had the time difference wrong. But yeah, I found your presentation very interesting. In Quebec, there's a negotiation at the moment in the childcare sector for childcare educators because there's a shortage. So I was wondering, because you were saying you hired someone else, and I know often for organizations, that's the issue. More hiring is a challenge. Did I understand well, the Social Security pays for all the children's places and therefore paid for the supplementary wage? So there was no issue there? No, it didn't pay for the supplementary wage. Okay. Only for by place. And the parents don't have to pay anything in your system,
Yes.
or do they? They don't. Okay.
No, they don't.
In our system, they have to pay a very low amount, but they have to pay something. But I think we find the same things.
be
That
quite
is, at the
interesting.
moment, huh?
That would be quite good if parents could pay a little bit here in Portugal.
Well, it was $7, now it's $9 a day, 9 Canadian. So it's just like a small contribution. I think partly because before it was, as in many other places, here private is more expensive, like $40 or $50 a day, and more even in the rest of Canada. But we find the same conditions, that is difficult work, tired. So I found that was very interesting. And in our context of labor shortage and less young girls taking up the schooling, the college level schooling in that particular field because they're hearing so much about these difficulties. It's quite a challenge. But I find that your case is very interesting because you do present very well the fact that, yeah, it's for the well-being. Um, so I had a question specifically on that, and I forget now what it was because I think it was pretty complete, at least what the part I caught. Oh yeah, the question was in the general research, maybe would be more for Sofia. Are there other sectors that are looked at? Because that's the challenge, like in manufacturing or in retailing, where we have a lot of women, retail, hotel, a lot of women working long hours or sometimes broken hours and difficult working conditions in any case. So I was wondering if there were any other cases to compare to or not.
Thank you,
In
Diane. I think
Sofia's research,
Pedro,
are you looking at others?
yeah, thank you for your question. I think Pedro Gomes and Rita Fontinha, as they are the coordinators of the Portuguese pilot, maybe they can share their thoughts about that because they have this big picture about all organizations that participate in the Portuguese pilots.
And you, Sofia, participated in this particular one, right?
Yeah, conducting only the qualitative case studies, because the coordinators are Pedro Gomes and Rita Fontinha.
Okay. Sorry that, yeah, maybe I'm asking questions for things that you said already.
After you, Pedro.
Hi, if I can change, my name is Pedro Gomes, and Rita Fontinha is here, and we were coordinating this pilot in Portugal. So we had 41 companies, and it was in different sectors, but it was mainly a lot of more office jobs. And the case of Caminhos da Infância was very, very important because it was in one of these sectors that very often we hear that it's impossible. It's not impossible. It has some challenges, and it's different, the type of benefits that we can and how we should do the implementation. But I want to, if I can just highlight some points that I learned from with them, and I think they did everything very well. All the procedure, how you actually carry out a pilot. The first one and the most important is always prioritizing children. So it's putting this as how this will impact children. Can we improve the work? And many of the small decisions, like on September, everyone is back because that's the months that children come in. And everyone will work 5 days to facilitate the adaptation of children, and then they get used to more than one educator, and then it's easier. But it was always prioritizing, thinking about the service they do, and that's the red line. No, you don't want that to get worse. The second one was this experimentation. No, it's not being afraid to experiment and evaluate costs and benefits. And partner with the academics to research. They already partnered before with University of Porto with children psychologists to do this evaluation in children already way before the pilot. So it's part of their DNA. And they accompanied us, me and Rita, and then Sofia, and all that partnership to evaluate cost and benefits. And here, this particular sector, we can't say, there is a cost of implementing. And in these very front sectors with frontline workers, that would be industry, that would be caring, restoration, restaurants or hospitality, there will be an increase in hiring. But the point which I find it's important is that you hear a lot, you have to hire 25% more workers to make it work. And the question is, once you experiment, you can actually quantify how many people do you need. And what they show is that they can do it with 1 out of 22, so about 5% more hiring. And this was for a reduction of 15% on average of working hours. So it's not a one-to-one effect. And how do they do it? Or in this sector, so industry, manufacturing, or it's about absenteeism. It's about what they also did very well, and maybe Inês and Francisca can talk, this readjustment of tasks. So maybe in non-core parts like admin or in their case, the kitchen as well, you don't need to hire more workers if there is a bit of a readjustment in tasks. And some people, sometimes unions don't particularly like this because they want everything very well defined. But it was part of this, some flexibility to make it work. And there's also the other costs, the other benefits that they gave to workers that somehow they were not as the Pilates classes or the weekly, the monthly travel card. So there can be other savings. So we learned a lot from a particular case, but we learned that we need more experimentation, and everyone needs not to be too worried and actually experiment, and then we learn. So it was really a pleasure for me, and I speak, I think, on behalf of Rita, to have worked with you. We learned a lot, and it's this perspective they brought. And let's try it, let's experiment, let's evaluate. And I think we would all be much better in all areas, in all industries, if more companies, organizations did the same.
Yeah, and
Thank
just
you.
to echo Pedro's words, they were also going through a change in policy, so they had more of this. Parents would be paying, but then there was a shift in terms of the government actually paying a certain fee. So there was this element that brought some constraints in terms of the hiring of staff, and this is also a big challenge. And thus, this move from a 4-day week every week to a 9-day fortnight, which is a better term solution, and hopefully there will be a possibility of maybe going back to a 4-day week, in the future. Hopefully,
Here,
fingers.
if you increase the cost, if there is a financial impact, all the other 40 companies in the pilot, they didn't have to hire anyone. So they just did a readjustment, reorganization, and it worked for the large majority of them. So only 4 went back to a 5-day week. But when there is a financial impact, then you can't run away from that. So there are other margins that you could have. So companies can increase the price if the quality of the service improves. Or they can have some wage moderation for workers. But when you have a lot of workers in the minimum wage, you don't. And when it's the government that fixes the price and just tells you this is the money that you have to run it, there is no margin. So they are, but other companies in other sectors, they will have more margins to adjust. But only after experimenting, after having this quantitative analysis. Sorry.
Can I have one last small question? The educators were paid the same wage, right? The same weekly or monthly wage? Yeah, that's part of the experiment. Great. I will be in Porto in the beginning of May, so maybe I will contact you if that's possible.
Yeah, of course. It will be a pleasure.
Okay, I'll be there for the first week, I think. So I'll try to contact you.
Great. This is, really lovely to have an exchange and lovely for people to be connecting on the webinar. That's amazing. We love, part of the network's purpose. It's great. We probably have time for one more question, if anyone has one. Otherwise, we'll wrap up a couple of minutes early. No? Okay, lovely. Well, that's good then. Everyone has a couple of minutes breathing space before next meetings or grabbing some lunch. Thank you so much to all of our speakers. Again, this is really, really fantastic webinar, really informative, and great to hear about all of your experiences from the nursery and just the general research around it. And thank you to Pedro and Rita as well for chipping in around the Portuguese pilot more generally. Our next webinar will be announced shortly. We'll share it via our newsletter on our mailing list. So keep an eye out for the next webinar taking place. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you, and I'll see you in Porto, maybe.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.